Hi, Sally Walker here, your hormone and slow age expert. So let's have a little look at what will affect bone health, positively or negatively. Okay, so there's lots of areas where you possibly can make some changes which are going to have a positive impact on your bone health. So brittle, fragile bones, as in poor bone health, can be caused by anything that makes your body destroy more bone, and it keeps you from building new bone. So anything which is supporting the breakdown and not allowing the build, is you're going to end up with brittle bones or osteoporosis. So what are the things that could affect that? Let's have a little look at that. So calcium is number one on the list here. So if you're not getting enough calcium through your diet, so you're not eating the food, so the food, which is number one on the list here, is going to be bones basically. But we don't eat bones, do we? But we do eat bone broth. So getting bone broth on a regular basis, making a nice big pot of it, put it in a slow cooker, make a nice big pot and have 1 cup every single day is going to give you so many nutrients that your bones need. It's going to be amazing for you. So you could do that. Now, green vegetables also have a lot of calcium, but unfortunately the green vegetables also have a lot of anti-nutrients, so it's not my first choice. So as I said, my bone broth is, but then you've got things like the dairy products, so your cheeses, your milk for that matter will also have lots of calcium. We do also know that the nuts have lots of calcium, but again, there'll be lots of anti-nutrients, so be careful with these plant foods. They promise you a lot of good nutrients, but unfortunately they also will have anti-nutrients, so you have to be very careful about eating too many of them, and especially eating them in a raw state. So physical activity. So the less active you are, especially weight bearing, then the higher the risk is that you will develop brittle bones or osteoporosis. So you want to be exercising every day. You want to be doing some kind of weight-bearing movement every single day. I'm not saying you have to be exercising for hours on end. I'm not saying that at all. Maybe going for a power walk. But I mean, even 30 minutes is great. Maybe doing some squats, some lunges at home. So you're doing some kind of weight-bearing exercise, which will obviously strengthen the muscle tissue as well, but it's good for bones. And ladies, you are now allowed, you have my permission to stomp around the home because the stomping, the impact is one of the good things for improving or increasing bone density. Now, avoiding too much, cigarettes, and then avoid getting too much caffeine. So this could be your coffees, but it could be teas, it could be sodas, that kind of thing, and alcohol. So be careful with getting too much of those. Notice I say too much. I'm not saying you're not having any, but I do say no smoking. Absolutely. That is possibly the worst. There's nothing good about smoking, is there? There is no health benefits, but there could be some health benefits of caffeine. There can be some health benefits of alcohol, but there are no health benefits from tobacco. Okay, now if you are a lady, so sex matters here. So if you're a lady, then your risk is going to be greater than if you are a man. And the ladies which seem to be at more risk are the ones which are underweight. So you have a low body mass, so you're under 19, for example, body mass index. That's the one thing. And then we've got Asian and Caucasian ladies that seem to be more than other skin colours. So if you fall into this category, and especially if your mum's got osteoporosis or your big sister or another sibling or etc. So those things are going to increase your risk, yeah? Age, well, bones, everything, works less well as we age, and our bones do get thinner naturally as we age. So the older we're getting, even if we are doing all the good stuff, then you will get thinner bones or more brittle bones as you approach the 80s, 90s, and we haven't really got the solution for that yet. But we'll see how it goes with taking the hormone. I think that's your best bet, at least, yeah? So we went through the hormones because hormones are very, very important. So check that video called Bone Health and Hormones. and make sure that you're looking after those 10 different hormones. That would be a very good one. Eating disorders, so if you're extremely thin, if you have bulimia, anorexia, that kind of thing, you are going to be at an increased risk for bone density problems. If you have had weight loss surgery, you're possibly not going to be absorbing calcium. If you have celiacs or other gut disorders, then you might not be absorbing your calcium. If you are taking drugs which are going to lower your stomach acid, you will not be absorbing calcium. So all of those things you need to be very aware of. Can you make some changes in your lifestyle so you can alleviate those problems with your gut, so you can possibly absorb calcium better? That would be a good thing. Vitamin D is important for the absorption of calcium as well. So have a little look at that. Long-term use of various drugs. So things like corticosteroids. So if you have skin complaints, or you have breathing problems, have chronic infections, and you've been using these corticosteroids, there is an absolute risk of low bone density because it's cortisol. I remember in one of the other videos I said, well, cortisol is going to degrade your bone density in so many different ways. So long-term use of those drugs is absolutely a negative. So you need to make sure you talk to your doc about this, so you're both on the same page with what you can do maybe to change these things. Yeah. Aerospace inhibitors, so the ladies that are put on these anti-estrogen drugs after breast cancer, they will also increase the risk for bone density problems, as it does with the boys who are put on some anti-testosterone or anti-androgen drugs. This will also increase the risk for bone density problems. So it might be helping your hair on your head, but it's making bones brittle. And we talked about the SSRIs, the serotonin, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. They seem to inhibit the osteoblasts, so we're not getting the build, so the breakdown is more out of control. And there are certain disease states which are going to affect things like rheumatoid arthritis, chronic kidney problems, chronic liver problems, problems with the thyroid and the parathyroids. Type 1 diabetes actually can also affect your bone density and other things. So there is an article in the blog, and have a little look at that and see how you can look after your bones. So what affects bone health is the article is called. So have a little look at that as well and get more tips and see which of those things that you can do something about. So if you're a smoker, I would say you need to start there. Happy hormones, happy life.